Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the English Learning Podcast. I'm Jason, your host, and I'm really happy to have you with us today.
Hi, friends. I'm Julia, your co-host. We're here to help you learn English in a simple and fun way. Thank you for joining us.
Today, we're going to talk about a very important topic, the power of consistency. Have you ever wondered why some people learn English faster than others? Or why sometimes it feels hard to keep practicing every day?
Yes, consistency means doing something regularly every day or often even when it's hard or you don't feel like it. It's like a secret key to success in learning English.
Exactly. Whether you're learning new words, practicing speaking, or listening to English, being consistent is one of the best ways to improve. And the good news is anyone can do it. You don't need to spend hours every day.
That's right. Even small, regular steps can make a big difference. So, in this episode, we'll talk about what consistency means, why it's so important, and how you can build a consistent English learning habit.
We'll also share some helpful tips and real stories to keep you motivated. So, stay with us. Let's get started. So, Julia, before we talk more about why consistency is important, let's start with a simple question. What exactly is consistency?
Good question, Jason. Consistency means doing something the same way, regularly, over time. It's like making a habit of doing something every day or often.
Yes, exactly. For example, if you want to get better at speaking English, you need to practice regularly, maybe every day or every 2 days. That's being consistent.
Right. Imagine you want to build muscles by exercising. If you go to the gym one day and then don't go for a month, you won't see much progress. But if you go a little bit every day, your muscles grow stronger. It's the same with learning English.
That's a great example. Another way to think about consistency is like watering a plant. If you water a plant every day, it grows healthy. But if you forget or water it only once a week, it may not grow well.
Yes, consistency means making a small effort regularly, even if it's just a little bit, instead of trying to do a lot once and then stopping.
And for English learners, this means practicing speaking, listening, reading, or writing every day, or as often as possible. You don't have to study for hours, even 10 minutes a day can help a lot.
Exactly. Consistency helps your brain remember what you learn. When you do something often, your brain gets better at it. Over time, it becomes easier.
So, in simple words, consistency means doing something regularly, making it a habit, and being patient to see results over time.
That's a great summary, Jason. And the good news is anyone can be consistent. It's all about making a small plan and sticking to it.
Perfect. Now that we understand what consistency is, next we'll talk about why it's so important for English learners. All right, Julia, now that we know what consistency means, let's talk about why consistency is so important, especially for people learning English. Why do you think that is?
Well, Jason, learning a language is like building a house. You can't build it all in one day. You need to add one brick at a time. When you practice English every day, you are adding one brick at a time.
That's a great way to explain it. When you practice regularly, your brain remembers new words and rules better. But if you study only once a week, it's harder to remember because you forget what you learned before.
Exactly. Consistency helps you keep your English skills fresh. It's like exercising a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets.
Another reason consistency is important is that language learning takes time. Some people want to learn English fast and get frustrated when they don't see quick results. But if you practice a little every day, you will see progress even if it's slow at first.
Yes, patience is key. Also, when you practice often, you build confidence. Speaking or listening to English regularly helps you feel more comfortable.
Right. And small daily practice can also help you build good habits. For example, listening to an English podcast every morning or reading a short article.
Plus, being consistent makes learning fun. When you see small improvements every day, you feel motivated to keep going.
So, to sum up, consistency is important because it helps your brain remember better. It builds your skills little by little. It grows your confidence. It helps you stay motivated. And it creates good learning habits.
Yes, if you want to improve your English, try to practice a little bit every day. It doesn't have to be perfect, just keep going.
Great advice, Julia. Next, we'll talk about some common mistakes people make when trying to be consistent and how to avoid them. All right, Julia, we've talked about why consistency is so important. But I think many learners try hard and still struggle. What do you think are some common mistakes people make when trying to be consistent?
Good question, Jason. One big mistake is starting very strong, like practicing a lot for a few days, but then stopping completely. It's like running a marathon but stopping after the first mile.
Yes, exactly. Sometimes people get excited at the beginning and want to learn everything fast. But then they get tired or busy and stop practicing. This breaks the habit and makes it hard to get back on track.
Another mistake is expecting quick results. Some learners think they will speak English fluently in 1 month or 2, and when it doesn't happen, they feel discouraged and quit.
That's true. Learning a language takes time. It's not magic. You need to be patient and keep practicing regularly, even if progress is slow.
Also, some learners don't have a clear plan. They just study when they feel like it without a routine. Without a plan, it's easy to forget or lose motivation.
Good point. A simple schedule, like practicing for 10 minutes every morning, can make a big difference.
And one more thing, some people try to learn too many things at once. For example, they try to learn grammar, vocabulary, and pronunciation all in one day, and it becomes overwhelming.
Yes, it's better to focus on 1 or 2 things at a time. Small, focused practice helps build confidence and keeps you consistent.
So, to avoid these mistakes, don't stop suddenly after starting. Don't expect fast results. Make a simple plan. Focus on small steps.
Exactly. Remember, consistency is a journey, not a race. Keep going, even if it's slow. Okay, Julia, now that we know the common mistakes, let's talk about the good stuff. How can learners actually be consistent with their English practice? What are some simple ways to build good habits?
Great question, Jason. First, I think the key is to start small. Don't try to study for hours every day. Instead, pick a small, easy goal like practicing for 10 minutes every day. This feels doable and helps you build a habit.
Yes, small steps are powerful. It's better to practice 10 minutes daily than 2 hours once a week. Your brain remembers better with regular practice.
Also, make a routine. Try to practice English at the same time every day. For example, listen to a podcast during breakfast or read a few sentences before going to bed. When you make it part of your daily routine, it becomes easier to stick with it.
I like that. Another tip is to use different methods to keep practice interesting. For example, you can listen to English podcasts or songs, watch short videos with subtitles, read simple stories or news, speak with a friend, or even talk to yourself.
Yes, variety makes learning fun and helps different skills at the same time. Speaking is important, so don't be shy to practice speaking, even if it's just a few sentences.
Good point. Sometimes people feel embarrassed or afraid to make mistakes. But remember, mistakes are a natural part of learning. The more you speak, the better you get.
Another useful idea is to set small goals every week. For example, learn 5 new words or use 1 new grammar rule in your sentences. Small goals give you a clear focus and a sense of achievement.
Definitely. And it's great to keep track of your progress. You can use a notebook or an app to write down what you learn every day. When you see how far you've come, it feels motivating.
Yes, tracking progress helps you stay motivated and consistent. Also, try to find an English partner or join a study group. Talking to others keeps you accountable and makes learning more fun.
If you don't have a partner, you can even talk to yourself. Describe your day in English or practice common conversations alone. It may feel strange at first, but it really works.
And finally, be kind to yourself. Some days you may miss practice, and that's okay. Don't give up. Just start again the next day. Consistency means coming back, even after a break.
Absolutely. To sum up, here are some simple tips for being consistent. Start small, 10 minutes a day. Create a daily routine. Use different learning methods. Set weekly goals. Track your progress. Find a partner or practice alone. Be patient and kind to yourself.
Those are excellent tips, Jason. If you follow these ideas, you'll build a strong English habit and see progress every day.
All right, listeners, try these tips and make consistency your new best friend. Up next, we'll talk about the science behind why consistency works so well. Now, Julia, I'm curious, why does consistency actually work? What is the science behind it?
Great question, Jason. When you practice something regularly, your brain creates new connections between nerve cells. These connections help you remember and do things more easily over time.
So, it's like your brain is building a path. The more you walk on the path, the clearer and easier it becomes.
Exactly. This is called neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to change and grow. When you practice English every day, your brain rewires itself to understand and use the language better.
That's amazing. So consistency helps your brain learn faster and keeps the information longer.
Yes. Also, consistent practice helps your brain form habits. When something becomes a habit, you don't have to think much about it. It becomes automatic.
Like brushing your teeth every morning. You don't think about it. You just do it.
Right. So when you practice English regularly, speaking, listening, or reading becomes easier because it's part of your daily habits.
Wow, that makes sense. So the power of consistency is really the power of training your brain.
Exactly. And the good news is your brain can keep growing and learning at any age if you are consistent.
Great. So keep practicing, friends. Your brain is getting stronger every day. Julia, we've talked a lot about consistency, what it is, why it matters, and the science behind it. But I think hearing real stories makes it even more inspiring. Do you know any examples of people who succeeded because they stayed consistent?
Yes, Jason. I know many learners who improved their English a lot by practicing every day, even if it was just a little bit.
Can you share one story with us?
Sure. There's a student named Maria. She started learning English in her 30s. At first, she struggled with pronunciation and grammar, but she made a plan. Every morning, she listened to an English podcast for 10 minutes and repeated new words out loud.
That's a great habit. What happened next?
After a few months, Maria noticed she was understanding English better. She also started speaking more confidently at work. She didn't give up even when progress felt slow. Her daily practice paid off.
That's inspiring. I also heard about a man named Ahmed. He wanted to learn English to get a better job. He didn't have much time, so he studied just 15 minutes every day reading news articles and watching videos with subtitles.
Consistency helped Ahmed build his skills step by step. After 1 year, he passed an important English exam and got his dream job.
Amazing! These stories show that it doesn't matter how much time you spend, but how often you practice.
Exactly. Another example is a friend of mine who talks to herself in English every day. She pretends to have conversations, practices new phrases, and records her voice to improve.
Talking to yourself? That's interesting.
Yes, it may feel funny at first, but it helps build speaking skills and confidence. She says it made a big difference in her fluency.
Wow! So the secret is simple: keep practicing every day, no matter how small the steps are.
Right. Consistency beats talent sometimes because it builds habits and keeps you moving forward.
Great stories, Julia. I hope our listeners feel motivated to be consistent with their English learning. Julia, we've talked about how important consistency is, but sometimes staying consistent can be really hard. How can learners stay motivated when they feel tired or discouraged?
That's a great question, Jason. Motivation is the key to keep going, especially when progress feels slow. One way is to remember why you started learning English in the first place, your goals and dreams.
Yes, like maybe you want to travel, get a better job, or watch movies without subtitles. Keeping these goals in mind helps you stay focused.
Another idea is to celebrate small wins. For example, if you learned 5 new words this week or had a short conversation in English, that's a success. Recognizing your progress feels good and keeps you motivated.
I like that. Also, try to make learning fun. Choose topics you enjoy, like sports, music, or cooking in English. When you enjoy what you're doing, it's easier to stay consistent.
And don't forget to be kind to yourself. Everyone has good days and bad days. If you miss a practice day, don't get upset. Just start again tomorrow.
Exactly. Motivation can come and go, but habits stick. So even when you don't feel motivated, practicing a little can help you keep moving forward.
Remember, consistency isn't about perfection. It's about effort and persistence.
Great advice, Julia. Keep your goals in mind, celebrate progress, have fun, and be patient. That's how you stay motivated to be consistent. Julia, before we finish, let's share some simple tips our listeners can use every day to practice English consistently. What do you suggest?
Great idea, Jason. First, try to use English in small ways every day. For example, write a short sentence about your day or think about your to-do list in English.
Yes. Also, listen to English for a few minutes each day, podcasts, music, or even short videos. This helps your brain get used to the language naturally.
Another tip is to speak out loud, even if you're alone. Practice saying new words or phrases so your mouth and brain get used to English sounds.
And don't forget to review what you learned before. Repeating helps you remember better.
Exactly. Little habits add up. Just 5 or 10 minutes daily can make a big difference over time.
So remember, use English in daily life. Listen often, speak out loud, and review regularly. Easy and effective. Well, Julia, that was a great conversation about the power of consistency. We hope our listeners feel inspired to keep practicing English every day.
Yes, Jason. Remember, consistency is the secret to success. Even small steps every day can lead to big improvements over time.
If you enjoyed this episode, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel so you don't miss any future podcasts.
And we'd love to hear from you. Comment below and tell us how you stay consistent with your English practice or share your own success story.
Also, check out the description for useful links and resources to help you on your English learning journey.
Thanks for listening, everyone. Keep practicing, stay consistent, and we'll see you next time.